Okay, today with the Engine 9000 debugger, we're going to look at Menace from 1988 by DMA Design, who ended up making Lemmings and then becoming Rockstar North. So here's just a quick look at the game if you haven't seen it before. So it is pretty impressive for 1988. So let's see how it all works. If we just look at the sprites, just have the ship as a sprite. So it's sprite 0, 1, 2, and 3. So 4 different sprites there, 15 colors. And then it's in dual playfield mode. So 0, 1, and 4 make up the background. And then plane 1, 3, and 5 make up the foreground. So if we look at the palette visualizer, because it's in dual playfield, you'll have 8 colors in the background. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then the foreground will be these 7 colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The reason it has 8 in the background and 7 in the foreground is because the foreground needs transparency for one color, because you have to see through to the background. You can even see where the playfields change. If you move with the palette visualizer, you go behind and you get to the other playfield. What's interesting and unique about Menace is that the background is only in 2 bit planes. So if you see, it's bit plane 0 and 2 make up the background with 3 colors, the green, the brown, and the darker brown. And then bit plane 4 just adds to the enemies, but it doesn't add to the background. So with back to the palette visualizer, this color, and this color are all the background colors. And then it's able to change up to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors per enemy wave. So if I take a picture of this palette here, so when I move to the next enemy wave, watch what happens to the palette. You see how it changes there? This is the new enemy. They're the blue enemies. So you'll see these 3 colors stay the same, the background, but then these 5 colors changed. So they have those to use for the new enemy wave. And that keeps happening all throughout every level. So you're not stuck with the same palette for a whole level. And when you get to the end of the level boss, it actually changes both palettes. You'll see here that the first playfield has just the background and then the eye and the projectiles, and the other playfield just has this. So if you look at the palette visualizer, the only thing that didn't change were the 3 background colors, but then everything else changed. So you've got the projectile colors, and then you've got the colors for the boss that also changed. So they changed the entire palette for this area. Things get even more interesting in level 2 because of the changing colors in the background. So let's take a look at that. So if you put the copper visualizer on, you'll see that it's changing colors on all these areas with the green down the screen. And then with the palette visualizer, if you let it run, you'll see this color is always changing. So if you just put on bit plane 0, you get a good visual representation of it here because it's changed the color here to this blue, and then the color here to this green and orange, on down the screen. But the only place those colors manifest themselves are in the blinking lights. So when you put on bit plane 2, you can see that. And then the last bit plane for that playfield finishes off the enemy. So yeah, it's just the second color here that's changed down the screen by the copper to do the blinking lights. And then another cool thing is that for the last couple of levels, the background is only 2 colors. So it's only 1 bit plane. So you see right there, that's the whole background. So what that is able to do is if you click on the palette visualizer, you'll see that it's only color 1 and 2 that are needed for the background, and then you can change up to 6 colors here for every enemy wave. So adds even more diversity to the colors of the enemies, but then you lose 1 color for the background. There's a good diary of Menace and the making of the game on the Code Tapper website, and there they say that sometimes they do use the background colors for the enemies, but it's very rare. So yeah, for 1988, this game used a lot of tricks, and yeah, changing the colors. Shadow of the Beast did that for the enemies the next year, and actually not that many Amiga games ended up in the future using the technique of adding more colors in dual playfield this way, which I'm not sure why, because it was a great idea and it was proven that it works early. So this is a really good game. I always enjoyed it. I think it's one of the only games I could beat because it's not too hard. And just to look at a few more stats, you can see down here that it's 50 frames per second, and there's 37 colors on screen at the moment. And finally, here are the DMA stats with the Blitter visualizer, just to show you
what else is going on. And so you'll see that a lot of the DMA slots are taken up by the bit planes because it's dual playfield, so 6-bit planes. And then the blitter a little bit, but not too much. A very cool game, Menace from 1988. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and like and subscribe and comment would be appreciated. Thanks so much. Till next time.